G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. This will be my late night Knackers Yard, 10 o'clock. Yeah, you might just be able to detect it. I'm still thoroughly lurged. Whatever bug the kids are giving me, that's cheers all. I'm still working. I'm steering clear of people. I have COVID tested again. It's not COVID. Kind of wish it was, frankly, but last time I had COVID, I lost my sense of taste. My sense of taste has diminished slightly, but I've blown clear 3 times now, so it's not COVID. It's just roughness. I had a bit of inspiration, 2 bits of inspiration actually. One inspired by you guys, by some of you guys in the comments. The other, something I was just looking into actually this evening, which is why I've got all excited and felt the need to film it. The first one is the tank. Now, for those that remember or have seen my weekend update, I was very foggy with lurg and didn't want to break into the engine, which was thoroughly proven and justified by the fact that I was filming at one point and forgot to plug in my microphone. So played with the tank, and I asked about how to remove tank sealant. Does anyone have any top tips? The biggest push out of it was acetane, and the other one was to get it tested. Now, I'm a tit in a shed. I don't have access to testing facilities, so by testing I thought experimenting. So I basically reached in, pulled out a few flakes, and I've tried them in a couple of materials. So I tried them in nail varnish remover, as close as I could get to acetate within my own reach, as much as anything else. I had to be careful. Let me just show you for why. Because my first selection for nail varnish remover was stuff that I stole from my... can't get past the bike because the garage is all locked up. That I stole from my wife's boudoir, which was this one. I thought it's not doing very much after a day, but then I read the bit at the bottom that said acetate free or acetone free. Dick. So I leopard crawled into my wife's boudoir once more and stole other stuff that does have acetone in it. I've tried that, that's getting nowhere now. Acetone, acetate, I don't know, is that much different? I'm not a chemist, I'm just an idiot. But it doesn't seem to be doing a great deal so far. Sorry, I'm still lurged. I also thought, what else have I got? I've got diesel. Maybe something that's petrol resistant isn't diesel resistant. So I've got a flake in there. Doesn't seem to be doing a lot, but it's been a day. So we'll see how that goes as well. I've got a feeling it's going to be percussion is the only way I'm going to get that out. But it's had a round of electrolysis rust removal. I have done several uploads on this, so that's why I didn't bother filming it. Essentially, it's washing soda, water, a positive and a negative. The metal sacrificial anode being on the positive anode diode. I can't remember how it goes, on the positive clip, and the negative being on the actual body. I had to whip off a bit of my fresh paint to do that, but like I said before, the paint was there just to try and inhibit the rust rather than to paint. And I'll see how we get on. I got the feeling it's just going to be percussive, and I'll have to find a way of knocking it off, or indeed just getting the worst off and cracking on. You know, we'll see. The other one was the valves. Now, I'll bring you in for some close-up, and I'm going to struggle because it's really hard to show close-ups when you're just a tit in a shed filming on a phone, but I'll do what I can. But the principal bit was I hadn't really taken a good look at them. I hadn't worked out what they're for. I just assumed they were stubs effectively, and that stub, depending on which way it was pushed, did one thing or another. And it wasn't until I thought about it a little bit, I thought that's just not going to work. There's no bounce. There's no spring, there's no give. I just thought it was a stem, and And it wasn't until I started to flick around on light and mess around, I realised that actually that's balls. And also, of the 3 tappets that are in there, I had one that was visibly different than the others, and I thought, well, okay, I'll have to re-look at my my parts list, my parts number, the number that I pulled up for it when I was first looking, and then just pretty much gave up, and see if there's 3, or see if there's 2 different ones. So it's 2 on the intake, 1 on the exhaust, on the inlet, sorry, and 1 on the exhaust. I wonder if the exhaust had a different part number. I don't know, but it's not. It seems to be the same one throughout, so they should be the same. And that's what spurred me on to my cock up. And what I'll do is I'll try and set you up, and I'll try and show you what the hell I'm on about. Let me let me mess around with the camera in the dark, and I'm going to put my dressing gown back on because I'm chilly and I don't want to be seen wearing it. Okay, so this is going to be tricky to film, but I need a bit of a backdrop. So proof, I have bought a gasket set for this. I've yet to break it out, but I want to use it as a backdrop, just so that you get a nice clear view, or clear-ish view. Right, let's start with the good. So I have one tappet, sorry, that I think is okay. So I was reading in the manual about bleeding them. And effectively what it was talking about was the fact that, I'll see if I can find a diagram, but that's essentially a small piston with a tiny spring at the bottom. So it's kind of a 2-part with a bit of a sleeve, a collet, whatever you want to call it there. You can see the damage that I've tried to repair on it. But if you get a small drill bit, and it says around a 0.1, you can see with a push, and listen. See if you can catch the noise on my microphone. So there are oil channels in there, and it springies in and out, and it's talking about bleeding it by pumping out the old oil. So that now makes sense to me, because that's got some give to it. So it's essentially preset at the height of that piston, and that give allows it to do what it does. And the height of that piston is, I say adjustable, the shims, or shims, because I've got 2 shims in most of them, or 2 shims in 2, 1 in the exhaust one. Basically adjust the height that sits at, and it does its thing, which is cool. So that is, try not to knock it over, because I do want to keep these paired together. That is one of them. My other one is out, but stuck. Now I could probably clout that with a hammer. In fact, I'm going to clout it with a hammer and see if I can break whatever's binding it. I will tell you why I'm clouting it with a hammer in a second. That's fairly rigid. I expected that to half move. Let's see if it moves. Unfortunately, I'm having to do it off camera. Stop hitting it like a mincer. My camera's going to fall off because the legs are about to fall off the edge. Hoop. There we go. So there is absolutely no give in that. Let me try a bit of a crappy vice action, see if I can get it to compress at all. I know this is wrong to do, but I'm just trying to prove something to myself. There we go, hang on. That's compressed a bit. Let's see if that bounces back out. Oh, it does. Now, it specifically said in the thread that I was, there we go. Extends. If I do it too much, it will fall out. It specifically said in the thread that I was looking about, a guy that was doing this, and his old man says, I'll just chuck it in the vise and do it, that works. So that was stuck up and now seems to have some bounce in it. Seems to have a bit of life in it. That was the top left. However, my problem child is the exhaust one, because that is stuck down. Now, what I'm going through here is a somewhat academic exercise. So I'll just crush that down a little bit more, and it's not coming out, which is what I'd expected. Let's go for some nice, well, in fact, let's put my dodgy soft grips back in that are utterly destroyed from misuse. And just clamp it back in, and I'll point you at it. Let me see if I can find something that looks roughly like a really crappy set of old rusty pliers. Oh, let's just pulled it back out. Where's that little drill bit just gone? There it is. No, that's if that has a spring in it, that spring inside is thoroughly depressed, and I don't mean emo child wise. I mean it's foot. The reason I'm feeling quite happy about manhandling these is I have actually found replacements for them. What I can't guarantee is how long it's going to take, because I did actually find them through CMSL, who seem good, but also seem incredibly slow in my own limited experience of using them. So it's going to be a good couple of weeks before they arrive. So I'm still not entirely sure how to install these, but what I won't be doing is installing these, because these is foot, or at least two of them are. So I've ordered three. I've ordered a whole bank, not cheap each, but I think I've identified the problem. So because these were wedged, one wedged up, one wedged down, this one wedged down, so the exhaust wedged down, what they weren't doing was engaging those valves at all, which to me would explain why I was getting naffle compression on the back. So I think I've found the problem, combined with the fact that my seatings of the valves, etc., are fine, as I've proven with bunny ears, with my compression kit, with my leak test. I think it's them. So they're on order. When they get here, they get here. I'm going to have to cock around until then, but we'll see what happens. Right, midweek update done. It's cold in here. I'm not feeling good. I'm going to medicate myself with alcohol and go to bed. Cheers all. Ta-da.